Welcome to Dirt Secrets, where we dig deep into the stories, strategy, and surprises of building and buying in Central Florida's hottest neighborhoods.
We're Kim and Amanda from Builders Concierge Group, your insiders in the builder world.
From helping builders create custom urban infill projects, even when that means knocking down an old home, to guiding buyers and relocation clients through every step.
We know the dirt, the deals, and the details that turn big dreams into beautiful addresses.
So grab your hard hat
And your coffee.
Let's dig in. Have you ever seen someone build a brand new home and totally regret their decisions? We have. A lot.
Even you.
Even me.
So we're giving today the buyer's blueprint.
Mhm.
Real world scenarios, things you want to think about when you're building a home or buying a home way before we start the process. You don't want to do it in the middle. That'll cost you a lot of money.
I'm Kim Griffin. I've got 35 years in new construction, which I've seen a lot of things happen and a few creative issues come up too.
And I'm Amanda Wood. I'm 22 years in new construction in real estate world. And yeah, I've seen not as much as you, but pretty much.
Mhm.
We've seen a lot. And these are things you want to listen to.
Mm-hmm. By the end of this episode, you'll know exactly what to expect, what to watch out for, and how to avoid the most expensive buyer mistakes that people make.
Absolutely. So let's talk about why home design guide matters. So
Mhm.
it's something that we've created that we like to follow. We want to make sure you think about every single thing before you even meet with the builder.
Mhm.
If you don't have these ideas in place, there's over 2,000 moving parts and pieces in a house.
Yeah.
Like literally, and these are all decisions you have to make.
Yeah.
Things you don't even think about. You're like,
No.
oh, I have to consider my faceplate.
Everybody
screwless
thinks about the
or-
kitchens and
rocker
the
or- yeah.
bathrooms, but nobody
Mhm.
thinks about the hinges on the door,
Right.
the hardware, the door style. They're like, they're just doors, right? And I'm like, well, there's about 50 different styles of
Yep.
8-foot solid core doors. And
or
oops.
windows with mullions.
Yeah.
Or,
So we've created
So
a
much.
checklist that so we don't forget anything and so
Yeah.
you don't forget anything.
That's right.
And I think this is a process most people skip. I think they go in a model home and they fall in love. And there's like, I want to build one of those, but they don't really
Pay
think of
attention
all
to
of the
how they're going
parts,
to live in it.
or
Mhm.
why they loved
Or
it,
how they're going to age in it.
So this is why they end up over budget and overwhelmed.
Yep.
Is just and some builders don't have a process. It's a pick it as you go along, which I think creates tremendous amount of stress on the buyer, on the builder.
Time, the budget.
Oh,
I mean, this
everything.
is the reason why it will take you a year to
At 2
15 months to
years, yeah.
18 months to 2 years to build a house is not having a system or plan in place.
Mhm.
You do this up front and then you stick to it.
Mhm.
Don't go and look at every little thing. But now I
Stay
want
off
this instead.
Instagram.
Like it's ordered. It's ordered.
Mhm.
We're not doing that.
Mhm.
And we explain all that and how the process works. You got to let that you got to get that train set up and you got to let go.
Yeah. Well,
Let it run.
and doing that up front helps you
Yes.
establish a good budget, helps you find maybe where your budget's weak and
Yep.
you need to boost it up a little bit. Because if you're doing a finance project, once you go to the bank and get that money, it's on a checkbook. That's how much money you
Mhm.
get. And anything over that's on you. So by planning very carefully up front and examining every possible part and piece, all those moving parts and pieces, like you said, you're going to have a much better result in the end.
It's important to understand your budget and like CP, for example,
Mhm.
add a design allowance in there
Yeah,
over your
you can
expectation.
throw a little
And when
extra
you're-
in there.
Yeah. And when and you can always take it back and re-amortize the loan at
Mhm.
the end. So if you don't
Mhm.
use it, but that way it keeps it coming out of your pocket and you can
Mhm.
leverage your loan that way.
Mhm.
But it becomes extremely important, even when you're looking from builder to builder to builder,
Mhm.
those budgets are critical. This is a huge
Mhm.
mistake people make.
Mhm.
Like, oh, he had the best price. You didn't look at what each little thing meant.
Mhm.
Are you getting, apartment grade appliances and,
Mhm.
and builder level everything where you have to upgrade everything because you're not going to put that in your home.
Well, and
So
I think
it becomes
that's-
very important.
I think that's
Cabinet
the
budget.
biggest breakdown that occurs between
Yes.
when a buyer and a builder are dealing directly.
Absolutely.
Is the builder's trying to satisfy their budget that they've given him but maybe doesn't dig deep enough into each of those
To
items to ask
understand.
these questions to
That's
say,
correct.
is your kitchen really important to you? Do you want these kind of appliances? And that's one thing the checklist does, is it kind of gets those questions out up front
Yes.
so that he says, hey, I see them from this list. The kitchen's super important to
Yeah.
them. I need to up that budget. Now,
Absolutely.
nobody ever wants to
Before
up
you
their
go to
budget.
contract.
No one ever wants to increase their budget. But if it's something that's important to you and you can fit it within your overall budget, you
Absolutely.
should do it now.
We can change color. We can change walls. We can change certain things. You're not going to change your cabinets. You're not going to change your
countertops,
flooring
not
for a long time. Yep.
Not for 20 years or so. And so, you want to help people separate their Pinterest dreams from real life.
Absolutely.
It's
We
like,
can be budget conscious.
you can still have,
but
a
we
great
need to know
look.
what's most important.
We do need
and
to
there are
know.
certain things cabinets and flooring you need to pay a little bit more attention to. No, we don't need to go crazy on it, but we need a good quality that's going to last a long time. And you want it to not be too trendy or too busy. Those are left for small spaces.
Absolutely. Well, how do you get we've got a budget, we've gone through the checklist, we know everything we want to put in our home. Where are we going to put it? Talk about lots.
Yeah. So this goes back to a previous episode. What comes first? The lot or the home, the chicken or the egg? It really becomes the lot. I mean, we talk about it all the time. Location. That's never going out of style. So we got to pick our home site, and then we need to design the home around it. So big things happen to me. Things can happen in our lives. It's not necessarily aging in place where you want to stay on the first floor, but you can break a foot. You can end up on a knee roller, just zooming around everywhere. So I look at like transitions. Like I like when the tile and the wood come together. And that's an install thing. We have to have a good installer to do it. But when they're the same level, there's no reason for a transition. Then you're bumping over that. It doesn't feel good. It hurts. Those are things we want to pay attention to. You need a bedroom and a bathroom on the first floor. Period. End of sentence. Just what if you have surgery? You can't go upstairs. So I think those are things that we have to pay attention. We got to have a home site that's conforming. Non-conforming is not fun. I mean, you can get around it with variances, but it takes time, it takes money, and then you end up with a smaller home and not be able to do certain things on it. Home site is going to be our first and foremost. Then we're going to start talking about how we're going to design that house to fit your needs and things that you need to pay attention to.
Well, I mean, how many times have we seen people go, oh my God, I found this amazing lot. And you're like, okay, you're telling me you want this, but this is they're not connecting.
Right.
So like I said, I think the lot does, especially in the urban infill situation, just totally drives what kind of plan you're going to be able to build.
Depend on your zoning, that same square footage lot in one zoning versus another.
5% less.
It could be 3 streets over. You now have to do a detached garage because, this one's traditional and it's got 7.5 foot setbacks instead of 5.
All lots are not created equal.
Nice and wide. I mean, you have more space between your homes, you're not, which is nice, but now you end up with a detached garage because of design stuff. Pick the lot first and understand what what your needs are in the home, and then start designing it.
And don't rely on the description.
No. That's why we have dirt secrets, guys. We're trying to help educate.
The description. It's like, and don't also, because usually you'll see the disclaimer that says all measurements, setbacks, legal requirements, and everything are on you.
Yep.
Are on the buyer. So, make sure that and you don't want to, if you don't know, you don't want to put that information in MLS. Only put what you actually know, because we see sometimes like, oh, this lot can revert to plat. No, I can't. So if you're buying, seek out an expert. Don't hesitate to reach out to us, call the city before you make that purchase. Find out what you're buying. And because that'll drive the things you find out, that will drive everything.
And they change often, so make sure you call.
And then, so we found the lot. We know that X square feet are going to fit on it. Now the designing the home part comes. Now, a lot of our builders have some plans already. You can modify and tweak those. It saves you time, money, and energy. We all want to play architect. I've done it myself, but there comes a time we have to put the red pencil down. and taking a plan that a builder has already, they've built it, they've priced it, they know what it's going to cost to build. You're just getting a lot more of a known quantity, even if you tweak it a little bit to suit your personal needs. And they've got more than one. And a lot of people don't know this. The architects actually own the
Yep.
plans, and then they license them per use to the builder. So you can make more modifications than you think and still save a lot of money over from scratch plan.
Versus buying one that you own.
Right. And plus, a from scratch plan these days is going to take you 90 to 120 days, especially
If
if you
you're
keep
lucky.
picking up the red pencil. So it's really important to first ask the builder, what's your portfolio of plans? Let me look at what you've got
Yeah.
already. And I guarantee you about 90% of the time, unless you have a very specific, lifestyle need, I think you're going to find something you like
That you can tweak.
and that you
Save a
can
lot of
tweak and
money.
make.
Mhm.
And so this is where modified plans versus fully custom. You got to complete that design guide too, because the architect needs to know those things too. If you're making any tweaks and you're like, hey, I want to take this traditional farmhouse and turn it more coastal, those things are on our checklist. And like, what style of home do you like? Do you want shutters? Do you want that? The architect needs to know those things, because I've seen people like halfway through going, oh, we need to add some shutters. I'm like, okay, well, that's just a little harder than you think it is.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we got to go back and talk to people about that.
Or putting a roof over it, not having
Yeah.
a roof on
Mhm.
a top area.
Yeah.
I mean, those things become like, you got to think about it
You
ahead
got
of
to think
time.
about it ahead of time,
It
and going
stops
back and having to
everything.
modify permits is long, long term. And good design, it isn't just about aesthetics. It's about functionality. It's about budget. It's about lifestyle. And it's about something we want you to have something you'll love a long, long, long time.
Absolutely.
That you will walk in 5 years later and go, I'm so glad I live here.
Oh, and if you decide to
Mhm.
sell it, you want somebody walking in going, I have to have
I
it.
have to have this.
Yes.
Yes.
This is the purpose.
And it is. It affects your resale. It affects your functionality. It affects your long-term value. So those are
Absolutely.
things that you really have to pay attention to. You don't want the weird little feature that you saw on Pinterest that people are going to go, what's that?
Absolutely.
You don't even have to scratch their head to figure out a space when they're looking
100%.
at your home. And then you go to the contract. Talk to us a little bit about the contract.
Use a builder contract. I mean, there is no other way to do this. So you've got a lot of reasons for this. The builder does owe you directly a warranty. It's by their Florida license law for their contractor license. So their statute 558, it explains a lot of things that they're responsible for. Humans build houses. There is a level of acceptable variance, quarter of inch here, that kind of thing, that it's not going to be perfect. So for all of our OCD buyers out there, we cannot build to OCD. We have to be very careful that we have an understanding of what that means. And that's part of your builder contract. It's going to have your warranty. It's going to detail everything that's included. If there's anything additional that's included in there, it's going to tell you if you own that lot, you're going to have some insurance on that, because the builder's going to be building in there.
Mhm.
You need to know these things, and they have to tell you these things. So
Mhm.
this builder contract, everybody's like, it's just written for the builder. Not necessarily. The statute 5, there's things that you need to know about your rights as
Mhm.
well. This is a responsibility. We have another guide that we have you read and study and sign that basically tells you what the process is all about.
Mhm.
So you understand you have responsibility, and that builder has responsibility, and how that's going to work together. Don't make changes just because.
Mm-mm.
It's going to cost you time and money
Mhm.
every single time. Your contract's going to detail that as well.
Mhm.
So it's going to tell you all these things, and you need to be very, very clear on all those expectations and what your rights are, as well as them. When your money goes hard, where is your money? Is it in escrow? Does it go to the builder? Because it can do two different things, and why. And you need to understand that. So when you're making these things, the builder, you're going to owe them directly.
Mhm.
And you'll have some in escrow and some to them, but you want to understand why. You can't
Mhm.
just say, I want this house the way I want it, and then go, oh, well, it didn't work out. See you later. And then leave that with the builder. So that's
Mhm.
not fair.
Mhm.
So it's got to be a
It's a
win-win.
relationship.
It's a relationship, and it's got to be a win-win. You
It's-
signed a
it's-
marital contract.
yeah.
Much
It's
easier
a
to
9 to
get out of than
12
divorce.
month relationship.
That's right.
Well, you
Actually, longer than that with warranty.
Sometimes you work through all the paperwork. You've gotten everything done. You've got good advice. You feel like you've got a great relationship with this builder. You're ready to go forward. Now comes the fun part. Now you get to pick your stuff out. This is the part that I like the best. But this is where good budgets go to die if you don't watch out.
That's right.
I'll see people walk into the showroom and I can tell right away what kind of client they're going to be as far as selecting things. When they walk in and they have their hand out and they go over and put their hand on the most expensive tile in the whole showroom, I'm like, oh, we're going to have a problem. I'll be like, no, don't look at that. Look over here. Look over here. Look over here.
Eyes on me.
Yeah, that's the client that I'm going to have to constantly be reining in. I'm going to have to get the pricing and then tweak it a little and get the pricing again. But I think the important thing to keep in mind when you're selecting these items is the most expensive is not necessarily the best. You want something that is durable. You want something that has a great warranty behind it, manufacturers as well as your builders. And you want something that's going to suit your lifestyle. If you're at the phase of your life where you've got 3 kids and 2 dogs and a cat that kind of lives there every now and then, and grandma and grandma are coming in and hanging, you need durability. You've got to think of, how is this going to wear? If you're an empty nester like myself, you can have some pretty stuff. I can have stuff. Of course, I do have a pack of hounds, but you don't have to think about durability and stuff as much as you do aesthetics. But then again, for your resale down the road, because we never know. We all say we're going to live in that house forever.
Never know.
Everybody comes in and says, this is my forever home. Our lifestyle changes, our situation changes, our health changes.
Yep.
And that is no longer your forever home. So you do need to pick something that will have some timeless appeal as well as durability.
And that goes back to the investment side of things as well, location and design.
And you got to get it finished. You can't drag selections out forever. You start second guessing yourself. Things that
you forget what you selected.
You forget what you selected. Things that you loved or discontinued. So you want to get everything selected up front. And it just makes everything smoother. The builder can price it out. He or she can send that out to all of the contractors. We can get you samples or make you mood boards, whatever you prefer. And then it's done. You don't have to lay there awake at night going, did I pick the right time? You don't have to. And it's a very emotional process, and we do get that.
Yes.
You can call and say, I'm really second guessing that bathroom tile. We're going to talk you off the ledge. Sometimes you have to go back and look at it again. It's like, that's the service that we do offer that I think a lot of building teams don't. The builders don't have time. They're building your house.
And they're not designers.
Yeah.
These are operational. They're not designers. You've got to tell them exactly how you want it laid, everything.
On the outside, they're going, sure, pick whatever you want. Inside, they're going, please just pick something.
Yeah.
So there's an internal dialogue going on there.
Just give it to me. I got to get going. The train's in motion. It's full speed ahead.
Obviously, and they should be. They're always concerned about timeline because time is money for both you and them.
And there's so much out of their control that they can't control. This they can,
Yes,
and
they
so can you. You're the driving force in time.
And you have to be careful about what you're picking. Just don't make an emotional decision. Don't make it because you just saw that. Believe me, if it's really ugly, I will try to talk you out of it.
Don't call me when you want to resell.
Yeah,
that's how she tells you that.
But it's like maybe something with that same kind of look, but maybe is not so bold. But I find people in general, they're very conservative about when they're picking stuff because they're like, oh my gosh, what's it gonna look like? I have to actually push them sometimes to go, it's okay to put a little sparkle over here. It's okay to do a little color over here. But I think like anything, less is more. You always say that less is more. A little moderation.
And things you can change when you get bored.
Yeah, like paint it any color you want to. Paint it purple. It's fine. You can change it. But if you're picking a countertop, a backsplash tile, a primary bedroom, you need to keep it to where something rough. You want to be able to walk in there in 5 years and go, I still like this. I still like this.
Don't be too busy or too trendy. Do that with paint and wallpaper.
I want to talk a little bit about closing that construction loan. I mean, we don't do a lot of our builders. They prefer to build speculative homes, and you can see all the reasons why. But when you are building from scratch, we do a construction loan, and it's simpler than people think. Don't you agree?
It is. there's several things to think about. First of all, your builder has to be approved with the bank that you choose to use. And not everybody does CP loans. We're going to talk to a lender here shortly. He's going to explain some stuff as well. So pay attention to the next episode for this information. But a construction perm loan, you could own the land. If you own the land free and clear, you've got your down payment. So you're going to have to carry insurance because you own the land. The builder will as well. But when they own the land, they cover it. When you own it, you cover it. You're going to pay interest only on that loan during the life of the loan. So up front, you're going to close, and all these things are going to happen. You're going to do the same thing on a construction perm loan prior to closing that you do with a resale home or a brand new home that's completed, a finished home. You still have to get an appraisal. You still have to give them a budget. Everything's got to be line item. The lot cost is not what the lot cost. It's the tear down costs. It's any
value.
Yeah, your lot value has a lot of different things involved. So it's got to have that breakdown in it. It's got to have a breakdown of all your budgets, everything that you're putting in it. And then they're going to appraise it and go, okay, this fits in the market based off what you're putting in it and comparatively speaking. So your appraisal comes in. You're going to close before we ever start construction. And it closes up front, and they'll have an initial draw, and then they won't have one for, the first few happen kind of quickly, and then there's a stretch, and then the end happens a little quicker. But you're paying interest only on the money that they draw. The bank is going to come and make sure, hey, we passed foundation, and they're going to come and check.
They're your partner.
They're the partner. So they check too to make sure that they've gone through that phase before and they're paying the builder back. The builder's paying out of their pocket, which is why they have to be approved up front with the bank. And then they reimburse them. Like, oh, I paid all this money. I did your foundation. I've just passed inspections, everything. You passed our inspection too. Here's your money. It's a process and a time. We're going to be going into permitting while we're waiting for the loan to close. It closes when a loan closes. It closes the same as if it's on a resale home. We get paid. The buyer's agent gets paid. Everybody gets paid up front.
But the dirt doesn't start turning that very next day.
No, we have to wait for permits. It's all of a timing thing.
We've got our loan. We're closed. We're ready. Construction begins. This is the fun part. We do a pre-construction meeting.
Always.
Super important.
Even on speculative, it's not mandatory.
Super important. Every home is different. Every home has little quirks and differences, and you need to make sure you cover that in pre-con. There's some things that architects miss. You're going like, wow, this room's a little dark because you've been in that home before. Let's put some downlights in. So those are really important things to do in the pre-construction process. And then that's a great place to set expectations for everybody. It's like, hey, we've closed our loan. We're having the pre-construction meeting, but we might not have the permit for another 2 or 3 weeks. So, this is a place for the builder to set the expectations and the buyer to say what their needs are. They're like, we really need to be in 9 months. And the builder's like, okay, I can do that based on this. So it's a cooperative process. It's like the more cooperative the buyer is, the more information they give up front, the quicker they make decisions, the faster the builder can get started. So it is definitely a very symbiotic relationship.
Absolutely.
For a long time.
No, 100%.
And how important are those on-site meetings after we're started?
Mission critical. I'm going to start with communication is key. I mean, when is it not? In every relationship, we've got to communicate. You need to see things. You need to catch things early. When that dining room fixture and that electrical goes in, you see framing. You're like, gosh, this door would be better if it was flipped. It's now, I'd miss that on the 2-dimensional, but I would rather it be in this room than on this side because I just see a door when I walk in the room. There are so many different ways to utilize different space, and we want to catch that framing. We want to go into electrical and plumbing. We want to move things and go, what? This is the time to do it is at these stages.
Yeah.
And during these walkthrough processes, we catch things, we do it. When we go to, I want to mention one thing I think becomes extremely important. When we're waiting we call and say, hey, I need you to come check. We're done with electrical. We need the inspection. It could be 2, 3, 4 days before the city comes out.
Yeah.
There will be nobody on that job site.
Yeah.
We cannot do anything else until they get that inspection done. We're at their mercy. So you're like, I'm paying interest only every day on my money. I want you there. We can't. You need to understand that. And that's going to be part of these meetings and discussion as well. By the way, as soon as this is done, this is my expectation. You're not going to see me on the job site for this amount of days is the expectation. So be clear then why.
It's just the communication.
Communication.
Like you said. Yeah.
You won't get upset if
nobody,
you know.
Exactly. Won't get upset if you know. And change orders.
Mm.
We're building the house. This is the time when change orders come into play. Now,
Less is
every
more.
builder I work with, they're going to charge a fee.
You have to.
You have to. It's an administrative fee because all that paperwork has to come back in, and then all the new paperwork has to go back out. And that can be one change. One little change can create a domino effect with several different subcontractors. So
somebody
think
misses it
carefully. That's one thing about getting that information out up front and having those questions asked. We'll ask you questions you never even thought about, but it will save you from a change order down the road. And builder has every right, and they're going to add a pretty good sized margin to a change order because they're like, if I have
it's going to cost them when it doesn't get done right.
Yeah. And the builder could say no. Every builder contract has they're going, you have the right to deny a change order. So that once again, planning up front prevents a lot of this from happening.
And they'll tell you why. I mean, they have other jobs they have to do, and it screws up their crews to get from here to here when they have to delay it. It doesn't matter how much you want to pay for that change order. It won't work with the rest of it. So it throws everything off. You've got to pay attention and understand why this works. Planning up front, don't make those changes. There are times it's necessary when they don't get charged, and that's because something was discontinued. But
now that's a whole different story.
This or that.
Yeah.
She'll go ahead and solve the problem that goes with everything else you selected. Obviously, you can look at more, but she tries to solve that problem right up front for you because we don't want the stress. And you go and look at model homes and inventory homes all day long. Guess what? Nobody had any input in that. There weren't change orders. And you love them all. So those are the things you want to pay attention to and have confidence in your decisions.
And I do think it's just what we've emphasized, plan early.
Yeah.
Read everything you can and
communicate.
Always do this with someone who knows what they're doing. You will build one, maybe two houses in your entire life. You want somebody that's built thousands. So.
Hands down. Take their input. Listen to them like you listen to your doctors. They do it every single day.
I mean, if you are thinking about it or you're in the middle of the process, don't hesitate to reach out. We love giving advice. It's obviously our what we love to talk, but
consult.
Yeah, consult.
We do consult,
but we're always happy. Pick up the phone, DM us, give us a call. We're happy to talk you through. It might be something just very minor. You just might need to have somebody talk you through it.
Yeah, and communicate, explain everything, and listen and communicate.
Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us. This was fun as always, and I hope you like, subscribe, hit all the buttons.
Love it, like it, subscribe it. Thanks for another episode. I'm Amanda.
I'm Kim.
Until next time.
This has been Dirt Secrets. That's another episode of Dirt Secrets, where we uncover the real stories and strategies behind building and buying in Central Florida.
If you're a builder ready to make your mark with a custom urban infill project, a buyer looking for the perfect home, or someone relocating here for a fresh start, we're here to guide you from blueprint to closing.
Make sure to follow the show on your favorite podcast app so you never miss a single secret and to stay ahead of the market.
You can find us at buildersconciergegroup.com or on Instagram and Facebook at Builders Concierge Group, where we share listings, behind-the-scene tours, and sneak peeks of what's coming next.
We'd love to hear from you. Send your questions, your dream home wish list, or your own dirt secret, and we might feature it in a future episode.
Remember, whether you're breaking ground, buying your first home, or finding your Florida forever home,
the right property isn't just built, it's crafted with the right team, the right strategy, and the right connections.
You've been listening to Dirt Secrets, and we'll see you on the next episode.